when I got here, what did I get myself into, and do I really want to be here?
What if the healing you've been searching for has been hiding in the weird? Taking the Weird Out of Woo is a new series that's on a mission to normalize non-traditional therapies and explore healing beyond the mainstream, one episode at a time. Each week, we bring together 3 powerful elements: a skeptic who's open but unsure, an expert who's lived and studied the method, and a real experience that just might change everything. From sound healing to breathwork, energy medicine, and beyond, we're diving into the woo with curiosity, compassion, and a willingness to ask, could this actually help? This isn't just entertainment, it's an invitation to feel, to heal, and to explore what's possible when nothing else has worked. Welcome to Taking the Weird Out of Woo. Let's heal together. This episode, this experience that we are going to be led on today, is one of the most powerful things that I've ever encountered within my own self. This is really where I feel like my radical transformation and my healing started, was with the power of holding a drum, of taking that stick and literally reminding myself of my own heartbeat, of my own rhythm. And this is where I feel like I dipped my toe into something very unknown. Seemed very weird, seemed very foreign. I was a little nervous, I was a little resistant. It was the very first retreat I had invested, but I knew I wanted this experience. And by the time I had my 3rd drum circle or ceremony, and people were going around me with these drums, and I was feeling this powerful vibration running through my body, something shifted, something happened. I can't put it into words. And for those of you that have held a drum, felt that vibration, you can say, there are no words to describe. So today we get to find out why. Why is a drum so powerful? Why is this beat and this vibration so magical? And why did all of our ancestors rely on the power of a drum in their own communities, in their own circles, in their own villages? So today we get to meet with our expert, Cami Taylor, as she shows us the power of a circle, the power of drums, the power of vibration, so that we can all have more community, more connection, and more feeling our best. Let's go. I think the drum let me just remember this playground of life. And, I will get back to some of the reasons why you might benefit this in your own life, Josh, but perhaps the drum could allow you to move some of that stress, right? Anxiety. We talked a little bit about that.
I'm not going to back out. I'm gonna do what I said I was going to do, but it gives me a lot of anxiety to be committed to stuff, even stuff I enjoy. I've been on sports teams, softball, bowling leagues, and the night rolls around that I have to be there and I'm committed. I can't let the team down because I've committed. I'm like, I really don't want to go tonight, but it starts to give you anxiety and the buildup of that commitment.
Because, Cami, I know a lot of individuals that teach sound healing practices utilizing drum therapy, drum ceremonies, drum circles. I just knew my intuition said, Cami is here. Cami, it can share this with people such as Josh, and to just introduce it in this setting of, this isn't woo, this isn't weird, this isn't just a drug party, right? Like has some sound, clear, I don't know, I guess grace. Like just something happens in your body.
I make drums out of animal skins, and all kinds of them, horse and buffalo and elk and moose, and turn these once living creatures into beautiful healing tools that we can use in meditation and healing. It's just such a beautiful thing, but also people think it's weird until they experience it.
When did drums enter your life?
Wow. 08 and 09, there was a crash in the market. We lost our business. We were going through an empowerment training, and they brought some drums out. Never seen them before, and, maybe just on TV or something. And so when they brought them out, I was like, wow, those are so cool. I really feel like I want to hold one of those. And so they started drumming and singing, and I just felt this real desire. And there weren't enough for everybody, but the lady brought one over and handed it to me. It had this beautiful artwork on the front, and I was mesmerized by that at first. It was just a beautiful native painting, and I already was painting things at that point in my life. And so when she handed it to me and I started playing it, that was the first time I ever heard and felt the spirit and the song of the drum.
The song of the drum.
Yep. And so when you create a drum, I create drums at home and for other people and for myself, and to use in drum ceremonies and circles. And it takes about 7 days for the drum to dry, but when you hear its voice for the first time, when it starts to sing, it's very magical. It's just magic.
It is just magic. I would fully agree.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, I fully expected that our conversation would be shorter today, because drumming is one of those modalities that can't be spoken in words. It goes beyond words.
Yeah.
It's a feeling. It's an embodiment. And I think that's really where we're heading as a society, is we're learning. I think we've evolved as much as we can using this. We've done a remarkable job at figuring things out and having systems and technological advances, but we are an emotionally constipated society. We don't know how to be emotionally intelligent, to be okay with us, to feel what it feels like to be human. And so I think the drum allows us to do that. And that goes beyond words. There's not words that we can express. We can try. We can say, you feel something. We feel a connection. The drum sings. There's what did you call it again? The drum has a song, right?
Yeah.
The song of the drum. And so those go beyond words. So it'll be really beautiful for us to just have this experience, see what happens. Maybe something will. Maybe it will just be an experience. And you can say, I went into a drum circle and I had this experience. And so I can't wait to share Cammie's beautiful medicine of the drum with you, Josh, my brother, that I really do want. I do.
Oh, wow. Who is that? What is she doing? She's like drumming? I think she's on drugs. I think she's on some drugs. Look at her drumming. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
So I love starting my drum circles with sage, and we do just a little smudging. And as you're watching the plant, as it's burning and the smoke is going off into the sky, that's just a representation of letting go and just being in this new space. Because a lot of us get so busy with life, and so it's like, I need to get a sitter to come to drum circle, and I've got to do this and dinner and no. And then they get there and they're just like so uptight. So at the beginning of drum circle, just starting it with that, just some breath work and smudging takes it to a whole new space to just let go of all of that and to be able to be present and to be able to feel the vibrations, the spirit, the connectiveness of being at drum circle.
I have no musical ability, and you think of a drum as a musical instrument, and I'm thinking, I don't know how to play this. I don't know how to, make this work. I can just bang on it, but, some people can make it sound a lot better than others. So when I first started, I was just trying to pay attention to what other people were doing, see what they were doing, and just follow along, like Simon says.
And I just felt this big bubble around us, started looking around, like even the trees and everything, the energy here was just, it was all just joining in for the healing. So that was really cool. This really is a sacred space.
Would it be okay if the men stood in together and just allowed the women to support them? Because our men are so strong and they're always supporting us in so many ways.
When I was in the center of the drum circle, I didn't know what to expect, and at first I'm like, am I supposed to feel something? And I'm just focusing on West's pair of boots, you know. And I'm like, those are nice boots, those are cool, you know. And I'm focusing on that. But as the drumming got going and it started to be in a rhythm that just totally was one and calmed you, and I never heard just one drum like some of the other guys shared, but it was mainly one drum and then another one behind. Always sounded like it was behind me, even if it was or wasn't. It was just a little thump thump drum beat, you know. But I always heard just like it was one with one kind of accompanying it a little bit. And I don't know if I was supposed to feel more than that, but other than just at peace and relaxed. And it was, and all my worry about the whole situation and everything kind of went away, and I was just kind of relaxed, and I didn't worry about any of the other things going on. It's neat to see people support other people and come together because a lot of people go through a lot of stuff, and sometimes we get pretty cold to it or brazen, and we're pretty jaded by it or whatever. And there's a lot of people who have real struggles, and it's neat to see people support them, you know, or maybe give them some insight on how to deal with it or overcome, because that's neat. Because a lot of people, usually it's just to help them is just a little bit of know-how, because they don't know how to get past something or they don't know how to deal with something. And it's neat to see people come together and support and help one another get through life.
What was your favorite part?
Being drummed was really neat. You know, we talked about earlier about me being grumpy or whatever, and it was very peaceful being drummed. You know, we heard the come to where it sounded like one drum, and at that point it was very relaxing, very, very peaceful, because like I said at first, I couldn't focus on what I was supposed to be focused on or feeling. I didn't know what I was supposed to be focused on, actually. So, and then as the drums went and it started to sound like one drum, and I felt very peaceful, very, very relaxed, you know, and all that anxiety and the nervousness of being here and the intimidation was kind of gone. It was nice to feel the peace and the quiet, and I really appreciated everybody who shared, you know, because everybody's at a different place in life, but you know, it doesn't mean you haven't been there. Everybody's timing is different, and people, you know, one of the worst things to do is be alone, and I think everybody feels alone, but when you're doing something like that, you feel connected and not alone.
I loved getting to know Josh in the interview and just feeling of his concerns and worries about coming to Drum Circle, because it's not something that he's ever really wanted to do. So he was such a good sport to come, and just his willingness to lean in and participate. And then at the end of the Drum Circle, I noticed how happy and lighter he felt, and just really communicative and fun to be around. So he worried a lot for nothing, because he's a great guy, and I really, really loved seeing the way that he just opened up and played the drums and just jumped in.
So Cami, my hope is that people that are watching can be empowered to start this very thing in their own community, because yes, you see the sacredness of this, you see the unity, you see the connection, you see the power of the drum. Now it's time to empower them. So I'm just curious.
You can just reach out to me online. I have a website and Instagram, Facebook, and order a drum.
We'll have the links.
Okay.
So they'll be in the show notes.
All right. And then I also do retreats or workshops, so you could come if you like to travel out to my place and build your own custom drum. I do retreats a couple of times a year, and I also travel to other people's retreats and do drum making while they're doing retreats. So if you want to have me come out, I absolutely love to travel and meet new people. So that's always fun.
You have this new idea that you're moving forward with where you could do online drum making classes.
Yes.
Where they can be tying their drum, making their own drum.
Yeah.
You guys, there's nothing like having a drum that you made. You choose the hide. You choose the way that you're tying it. Like knowing my own experience, it's like, I did this. I put the love, I put the time, I put the talent. This is me. And so every time I pick it up, I'm like, oh, this is me.
Make a little drum kit for you, whatever size, whatever hide, and then ship it out to you. And then I just have a little video I can send, and then we can make it together over Zoom.
Once again, this is so meaningful in my life. And I just shared this with one of my best friends, and both of them are best friends of mine. And for them to both have that kind of shift and that kind of an experience, I can just imagine how many people out there are looking for community, are looking for connection, are looking for harmony, are looking to take themselves out of fight and flight, wondering how they can do it easily, learning to use sound healing. And now you have an option for them to have a drum at home, for them to start their own circles. They just have to have a little courage and a little bit of tenacity to go invite some friends or put it on Facebook or something like that, or Instagram, right?
Yes.
Because you started your own.
Yes, I did.
And was that a little nervous?
Oh, for
you?
sure. I didn't know what I was doing, but no one didn't know that I didn't know. So,
Okay.
And they didn't know what to expect either. People come and they're like, what are we doing? And you know, it's basically just drumming and having fun and dancing and creating community and friendships, and also enjoying all the benefits that come from drumming.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your light, for sharing your talent, for sharing your heart. We all felt it today, and keep shining your light.
I will. Thank you for just
You bet.
helping it grow bigger.
Absolutely.
And brighter.
Thank you. So I have to tell you about a really cool thing that you may not know about. It is called Yin on Fire, and it's a healing arts festival down in southern Utah, right next to Zion National Park. Let me tell you why this is so cool. All of these episodes are showcasing a non-traditional therapy or a non-traditional way of healing. What if you could actually go to a 4-day, 3-night event and have like this buffet of offerings that you could try out all sorts of different non-traditional therapies, go learn from experts, and be surrounded by an incredible community. And then at night, have incredible shows where you dance the night away. That's what Yin on Fire is all about, and you should go check it out.